Okay, in this particular section we're going to start taking a look at reactive forms in Angular. And in order to get started with this, first of all we need to go to our app module. And inside here what we're going to do is we're going to import the reactive forms module. Now the forms module we use for template forms, but we do need another module for reactive forms. And consider me shocked, this looks like it's going to import automatically. So I'm going to select this and double check that this has imported. And because we've already got the Angular forms, this is part of that, and we have this inside here. Whilst I've seen it, I'm going to take the opportunity to remove all unused declarations from inside this particular file. So just click inside one of the unused imports here and just go for delete all unused, and that will tidy this up. It's still pretty busy, but it's a bit tidier now. And what we're going to do is we're going to deal with our registration of users in this section. So we're going to go to our register component.ts first of all. And what we're going to do in here is we're going to set up our reactive form. So what we'll do, we'll add a property here and we'll call it register form. And what we're going to use for this is a form group. And this comes from Angular Forms. And this tracks the value and validity state of a group of form control instances. So we'll use a form group, and then what we can do inside our ng on init, we can initialize our form. So what I'm going to do is create a method for this and say initialize form. And what we'll do inside here is we'll say this.registerForm equals a new form group. And a form group contains form controls. So what we'll do is we'll specify the username, and this is going to be a new form control. And then we'll specify a password, and this is also going to be a form control. And then we'll specify a confirm password field, and this will also be a new form control as well. And what we'll do for the time being is we're just going to comment out this particular method, and all we're going to do is console.log list.registerForm.value, and this is going to contain the values for all of these form controls. And then what we can do is open up our template. So we'll open up the register form or register component template, and what we do inside here is instead of using a template reference variable, we'll remove this, and what we specify is an input property of form group, and we're going to set this equal to the register form. And we can use either double quotes or single quotes inside here, by the way. I typically prefer single quotes because I feel they're slightly cleaner, but I don't mind either way. If I have to mix and match, I'm not going to get overly excited about that. And then what we do is let's take a look at our inputs, because we're going to change things inside here. We don't use ng model with reactive forms, nor do we need a name property, so we can remove both of these. And what we use instead is we use a form control name, and we're going to set this equal to the name of the inputs or the form controls that we created inside our component. So this needs to match exactly what we called it inside our initialize form method. And since I've noticed it, I'm going to say list.initialize form, so that when we do initialize our component, we have our form initialized. So let's go back to the template, and we'll do the same for this one as well. We'll take out the ng model, and we'll give it a form control name, and we'll set this equal to password. And then what we can do is we can copy this input and paste it below. So instead of password, this is going to be confirm password. Casing is important, so make sure if this is how you've capitalized things inside the components, then make sure it exactly matches, of course. And then we'll give it a placeholder of confirm password. And let's move this down slightly. Now everything else stays the same, but what we'll do is just to show what's going on as we do this, I'm just going to add a paragraph. And we'll say form value colon, and then we'll use interpolation, and we'll get our register form, and value, and then we can use a pipe to display this in JSON format. And then I'll just copy this line down and we'll say form status, and we'll use the register form dot status to tell us if the form is valid or invalid, etc. So let's go take a look at our browser. I'll just log out of Lisa and then we'll click on register. And we can see the form values are all currently null, and because we haven't asked any validation to take place, then the form is currently valid. And if we open up the console and take a look inside here, then if we type in some values, we can see that our username is now test, our password is whatever, and we can add a confirm password of whatever, and then click on register, and we see the values inside our console. So that's the very basics of reactive forms. What we're going to take a look at next is how we can use validation inside here as well.